Hey, Gopher fans, it's Mike Grimm from Gopher Radio and Gophersports.com. Welcome back. It's another edition of Gopher Talk presented by Affinity Plus, committed to the safety of their members, employees, and communities during this time. You can learn more at affinityplus.org. And it's time to talk Gopher basketball. Marcus Carr, Golden Gopher Junior to be, is with us here on the Zoom. And first of all, good to see you, Marcus.
Yes, sir. Good to see you as well.
Well, you had put your name in for the NBA draft. Obviously, things went a little bit haywire in relation to the COVID-19, and some of the camps didn't happen. And I'm sure a lot of the feedback you were hoping to get and to see kind of where you might be placed didn't happen. And so in recent days, you've taken your name out and you're ready to play Big Ten basketball. Kind of take us through that whole process of entering the draft. The possibility, had it been a normal year, would you potentially have stayed in? And now the good news for Gopher fans is they get to watch you for another season.
Right. Yeah, kind of like you said, it was just a different time, something that we haven't seen before. So the process wasn't how it usually was, but it was still a blessing for me and for my family to be able to, go through it regardless of, what was going on. And I'm thankful for all the information I received and, the things I learned from it. And I'm ready to come back and get to playing with the guys and in front of Gopher Nation.
What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about your game? And what kind of feedback were you able to get during the process, as limited as maybe it was in relation to most years?
Just doing a lot of deep diving into film and stuff like that. And, not only getting feedback from, people at the next level, but also just, the coaching staff and within myself, just watching, the areas that I could get better. It was very helpful to receive the feedback that they gave me. And I think that, me implementing it will, not only help myself, but the team going forward.
Yeah, and certainly we're going to talk about Gopher basketball here in a second. I want to ask you about what your summer has been like in spring. I mean, we go back to Indianapolis, where the Big Ten tournament was happening, and all of a sudden, the NBA had its issue. They canceled the season. The tournament gets canceled. Next thing you know, we're on a flight back to Minneapolis. I know there was a thought that you might even try to go from Indianapolis back to Toronto. I know you're in Toronto still now, but what has this been like? Have you spent most of the time north of the border in Toronto since this all kind of hit?
Yeah, just been, working, trying to work as much as I can. In the meantime, obviously in the beginning, it was really difficult to, get in the gym and get work in. And then as things started getting better, it became easier, with it getting into different phases and, things opening back up to where they are now. So it was definitely different, definitely difficult to, go through that and find different ways to work without, the usual gym time, the usual, facilities that you usually have. So it was definitely different.
The how the country has handled it in general in Canada, what can you tell us about that? What's it been like in terms of how closed down has it been? How much freedom have you had? And I know you haven't been in the U.S. much, but in terms of what you see, how do you think it compares?
I think, we've been handling it pretty well. I think, they kind of took it very seriously from the beginning, and, you kind of see that we were able to progress. And so now we're in phase 3 right now. So I think they've been handling it pretty well over here.
In regard to Canada, obviously, I have to ask you, you're in the Toronto area, and is the NHL bubble, is that getting most of the sports publicity right now? I know the Raptors are playing in Florida, but is everyone kind of paying attention to the Maple Leafs and all the stuff going on in Toronto?
Yeah, they're getting their attention. I've kind of just been, focused on the NBA, obviously coming back. Just excited for that, so that's all I've been watching.
Well, let's talk about your plans now. Some of your teammates are on campus. They're able to get into the gym and shoot. What does it look like for you in terms of coming back across the border and getting onto campus and rejoining your teammates? What's the timeline look like?
No exact timeline yet, but I am going to be joining my teammates soon.
What you mentioned working on your game, and it was hard for a time in the spring, especially when everything was closed down. What are some areas now, as you're able to get into the gym, based on your play last year, which was obviously very good? What were some areas that maybe you even want to tweak your game and take to another notch above?
Overall, just being more consistent, improving the way I shoot the ball, improving my shot selection a bit, just being more efficient. and then also learning ways that, I can become a better leader. Just little things I can do on the court to help coach out and, to give us a better chance to win every day, and just bringing that same compete level that I always do. And, I think implementing all those things will definitely make for a better season.
What have you mentioned that you're doing a lot of those individual drills. Have you been able at all to get in some pickup games, or has that been dangerous as well in terms of trying to stay away from people, or are you able to or maybe even train with some guys that are players up there?
Pickup was, not a thing for a very long time, not being able to be in the gym or, have a certain amount of people in the gym. So that's kind of only just starting to pick up as we're in phase 3. But usually just been working by myself. Sometimes maybe a couple other players in the gym that I know, other, pros or Division I guys in the gym as well, just a few, but mostly it's just been me by myself.
Have you either through text or actual talked to Daniel Oturu? And obviously he has kept his name in the draft. What are you hearing from him, and how excited are you for his potential opportunity upcoming here?
Super excited. Yeah, me and Dan talk, all the time. I'm super excited for him. Seen him obviously since freshman year, just how he's improved, what he's done, and, the opportunity he has in front of him right now is huge. And I know he's going to take advantage of it. So, super excited, super proud, super happy for Dan.
That said, it's a look ahead now for you and the Gophers. Obviously, a couple of transfers have come in, 3 total. One, the youngster from Western Michigan, Brandon Johnson, will be eligible as a grad transfer. The other 2 we're kind of waiting on to see if they get the waiver. But as there's some uncertainty there as to how the roster that can be on the floor will be, what's your excitement level if everything comes to fruition and everyone on the roster can play?
Super excited regardless, I'm super excited for the guys that we have coming back, super excited for the guys that we have coming in as well. And obviously, fingers crossed we get everybody eligible for this season and everybody's able to play. And, I think we have a super strong team. I think it's really just about us being together and, getting used to each other, gelling and playing with each other. But I'm definitely super excited about everybody that's on the roster right now and, the things that they could bring to the table.
As you went through your freshman year, the gauntlet of the ACC, and going to places like Duke and North Carolina and Syracuse and Louisville, compare that to now year 2, or really year 3 of basketball, but year 2 of competition when you went through the gauntlet of the Big Ten, which top to bottom was as tough as I've seen in a while last year. And now you look at it this year, Garza announced he's back. The 2 kids from Illinois are back. One of the 2 from Michigan State's back. There's some good recruiting classes. Minnesota's out of the transfers. It's going to be a pretty good Big Ten league, it looks like, again.
I think, we're in position to be, the best league in basketball again. I think we were this past season, kind of seeing how strong we were, like you said, top to bottom. And, the different teams that, kind of had a chance to, win every single night. There was no easy games in the Big Ten. So you kind of seen that. And, of course, there being, 3 or 4-way tie for the Big Ten regular season championship. So, just having one of the top and deepest leagues in the country. And I think we're kind of poised and prepared to have that again.
And as the Gophers, you were in all these games. I think 5 points or under decisions, for whatever reason, didn't go the Gophers' way, but it shows that you're right there. You're on the cusp. What can you take from last year going through those lessons and try to implement this year when you guys are in close games to flip the table and get the W there? And because, again, you're right on the cusp. If a couple of bounces go your way, all of a sudden it's a different record and things are looking different. But what kind of things can you take from last year going through what you did to implement this year?
The experience. When it comes to things like that, just having been there before, having been in those situations, makes all the difference, whether it's, you were in that position specifically, a year ago or earlier in the season, whatever it may be, but, having that experience of those situations so that when you're in them again, it's kind of, it's a lot cooler, it's a lot calmer. You understand, what's going on and what you have to do. So I think definitely coming back into this year, that's definitely going to help us a lot.
Well, I can tell you're excited. You're pumped up talking about it. The Big Ten's going to be fun, and the Gophers are going to be fun to watch. Let's hope everyone stays safe. You stay safe north of the border, and let's hope that we see you here on campus soon.
Thank you. You guys as well.
All right, very good. He's Marcus Carr. That's Gopher Talk presented by Affinity Plus. Thank you. So long.